Ian Wyatt. BBC Essex.
So, asking you at the moment about your paranormal experiences. Have you ever seen a UFO? Keep your calls coming in, 0800 111 40 41. Have you ever thought that BBC Essex is a bit too terrestrial for you? Well, we're joined by Neil Geddes Ward, who is the presenter of the online radio station Paranormal UK. Neil, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ian. It's actually the Paranormal UK radio network, a bit like the BBC network, and I host a show called the Paranormal Peep Show on the Paranormal UK radio network, but that's fine.
Crikey, that's a mouthful.
It is.
The show's over, isn't it, by the time you've got all that out?
I think so, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on another UFO sighting in the UK, Neil, here at Isle of Wight this time?
Well, yeah, it's obviously exciting stuff. I mean, there's lots of people speculating, what are they, Chinese lanterns, or are they fireballs and things like that. But, I mean, I've been taking a look at the photographs, and they look pretty spectacular if they're genuine. I mean, they look like 3 or 4 objects flying over the Solent, taken in clear daylight, and when you zoom in on them, they look disc-shaped. I mean, so I can't see how people can mistake these for Chinese lanterns. The lady, Vivian Gibson, if this is the same pictures I'm talking about, she didn't notice them until she looked at the photograph afterwards, which is often the case of UFOs, because sometimes they're so far away in the distance you can't actually see them. But yeah, they're flying over the Solent, and they're in formation, and it's not the first time UFOs have been seen flying in formation. So hopefully there will be other witnesses out there to verify it as well.
Yes, I suppose that's the key, isn't it? Getting more reports of sightings and pictures of the same incident rather than just one.
That's right, yeah. The more evidence you can pull together, whether it's photographic, video, even radar. I mean, there's obviously plenty of ships in that area. You would have thought that maybe some of them could perhaps spot it or pick it up on their radar, and an aircraft are flying backwards and forwards over the channel. Some of them might even see, I mean, there's actually been sightings of UFOs by planes flying to Guernsey and places like that in the past, so it wouldn't be out of the question for pilots to spot these things as well.
Okay. Now, what about Essex's history when it comes to UFO encounters? Are we pretty average, or do we have our fair share?
I think you probably do have a fair share. I mean, there's again, fireballs, strange objects coming out the sea, things like that have happened in the past. I mean, I've actually been researching things over the whole of that area, East Anglia area, and there's a case going right back to 1918, would you believe, of a lady who spotted a platform, what she describes as a platform. It's in the village of Aldeburgh, and it looks like a roundabout, a children's roundabout, for want of a better description. But she described it as floating down the road after she was in her bedroom cleaning out the bedroom. She just happened to look out the window and saw what she saw as what she called a platform. Now, this is before the word flying saucers was used, because that wasn't used until at least 1947. So the Aldeburgh platform, as it's now come to be called, was essentially looking like a children's roundabout, but it wasn't a flying disc with a cover over it. It actually had men standing on it, as children would stand on the roundabout, and they appeared to be holding onto a railing. And they appeared to be in a uniform of some kind, and she could clearly see them hovering about the height of a house, and very clearly she could see their faces, see their uniform. She even tried to work out what kind of power this thing was making this thing fly. She actually looked between their legs to see if there's any kind of motor in there. And this was around the end of the First World War, and she said it floated right past her window and then turned right off down the street and out towards the sea, which is interesting. A lot of UFOs are sighted out towards the sea and go into the sea. So I wonder if there's a lot of speculation, but are there bases under the sea? You know, do they dive down somewhere and hide out of sight? Because everyone thinks they're coming from millions and millions of miles away, when in fact I think they're more like perhaps they could be landing in the sea and just pop out of the sea when they want. It's not to say that they're aquatic amphibious fishmen or anything like that, but I think that would be a perfect place to hide out under if you want to kind of escape scrutiny of the authorities as such.
But wouldn't they have been caught on film doing that by now? With everyone's got camera phones, haven't they? And people out on their boats.
There is footage out there from various navies around the world where they've caught things on their thing, but they're all kind of secreted away under 50-year rules and things like that. I mean, there's many cases of these things you can't get access to them. I mean, you know, talking about the Shag Harbour incident off Newfoundland in Canada, where a UFO was under the water, being spotted by trawlermen, and even the local. I think the Air Force or the Navy got involved in that one and saw this green object floating under the water for a couple of days, in fact. So they must have filmed it, but you're not going to likely be able to get access to that film because they secret it away.
Haven't most of the sightings, Neil, sort of been debunked? Are most of them explained by other more rational, if I can use that word, reasons?
Well, yeah, you will be able to explain a lot of them away, and obviously once you've ruled out everything else, then you have to come down to that small percentage of things. Well, what else could it be? And only, earlier this year, in the middle of this year, the Pentagon released their UAP results. I believe they're going to release more soon, where they actually admit to looking at these things, and they admit that they don't exactly know what they are. So, if the Pentagon can rule out everything else and then come to a percentage and say, well, yeah, but there's a small percentage of stuff that we don't quite know what it is, but they've got it on gun camera footage, they've tracked it on radar, they're doing incredible speeds, manoeuvring things, defying physics as we understand physics, then, that says a lot, really. I mean, you can rule out lanterns in the sky and meteors to a certain extent, but after a while, there's just so many sightings that you just have to sort of think, well, what else could this be?
Wow. It's an interesting thought, Neil, and thank you for discussing it with us today on BBC Essex. Neil Geddes Ward, a presenter from the online radio station Paranormal UK network.